Right, let's have a look at this question then. So as usual, you'd hit the requirements and you'll see divisional manager's bonus there. And you think, well, what's the requirement? Well, the requirement is always within the exhibit. So you can close that down now and you can go to the bonus and it'll be in there, the requirements somewhere. Okay, but what I want to do is get us to know the company a little bit here. So Clarke make solar panel systems which are used for generating electricity from sunlight, as all solar panels are. They have two independent divisions. J Division operates in J-land and makes solar systems for homes. T Division operates in the neighbouring country of T-land and produces similar but smaller systems for mobile homes and small garden buildings. Each division sells within its own country and there's no transfer of goods. They have a head office in T-land which provides IT, finance, treasury, HR, etc. And head office costs are allocated to each division according to turnover based on similar sized businesses. Blah, 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 blah. That's it. That's all I really want to know. Okay, so let's go back to the divisional manager's divisional manager's bonus. And it says a new CFO has just joined the head office team, and one of her first tasks was to introduce a bonus scheme for the senior managers. And the bonus scheme is each manager was owed a significant bonus in addition to their normal pay, based on the budgeted net profit of their division, which is fine if it's controllable by the manager. The new CFO introduced the business scheme as she thought it was a good way to motivate to improve divisional performance. Okay, normally bonuses are motivating. The CFO said this is because the bonus is based on divisional net profit. And you should immediately be thinking, well, not really, it could be demotivating if I don't control it all, as that's what managers are accountable for and is under their control. So maybe, okay, if it is under their control, maybe some of it's under their control, some of it isn't. The CFO said that as most senior professionals at Locken, she would make the final decision. Blah, 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 blah. Yep. The divisional manager of T has now complained. He's now kicked off, saying that the bonus scheme is not fair and he should receive a bonus for the year. The CFO is having a meeting with the manager to discuss his complaint about his bonus. The CFO has asked for your advice as a performance expert in preparation for the meeting. And it says, look, using the information in Appendix 1, so here's the requirement, the CFO wants you to advise her of the problems on the basis on which the management performance is assessed. That's the only bit that I want to do. The calculations we can forget. I want you to talk about the basis. Okay, so we need to go to Appendix 1 to see the basics. Here we go then. And we can see that it's based on net profit. The actual net profit was 475. Budgeted net profit was 500. And so therefore they didn't get a profit. Okay. So let's have a look at the first bit of information. The actual net profit of D is calculated after charging allocated head office costs. Well, you've been allocated them, so it's outside of your control. So you can mention that. And the budgeted net profit, so the actual was 220 and the budgeted was 190. Okay, so you've been given an extra 30 allocation, which is outside of your control. Gas used in production and cost of sales, we don't know whether that's controllable or not. That's one thing you'd say. We need to know how controllable the key variances are. And then it breaks it down a little bit. It says it's negotiated by head office, the variable rate tariff. Well, again, not controllable. There's the market price increased significantly. Again, no factors taking that into account. There was also excessive gas consumption by poorly maintained gas meters. That could be controllable, could not be. Just do one more. A favourable variance due to exchange rate movements has been volatile and changed significantly over several years. Again, there's no mention of how controllable or not controllable this is. So, to get our marks, what I wanted to do is show you the examiner's answer. So let's go and have a look at that. And this is the bit we're looking at, just the overall problems on basis of assessment. So the manager should only be held accountable for aspects which are within his control. Otherwise, may lead to him becoming demotivated because he can't improve divisional performance due to non-controllable factors. Performance information related to the bonus manager doesn't distinguish between which are under his control and which aren't. Basing it on divisional net profit in the appendix makes the manager accountable for some factors that are definitely outside his control, because it does not eliminate or adjust for these factors, and you could say what they are if you wanted when deciding whether he should receive his bonus or not. Though the information does include a brief commentary on some of the key variances, it doesn't explicitly say whether they're controllable or not. It may be difficult to determine exactly which factors are under the management's control, because you could be influenced by others' decisions, such as those of head office. Okay, and that's basically it for our little part of it. You'll notice how the examiner talked about control, not control, went through this scenario. That's what you would do, saying why you think it's important. And that's it. Not really too tricky, I don't think.